The market often feels intelligent, almost intentional. You place a stop loss and price touches it, then reverses. You wait for confirmation and price barely misses your entry. You enter and price immediately pulls back. It feels targeted. It feels unfair. It feels like the market is watching you. This experience is so common that traders give it a name: liquidity hunts. But the psychological danger is not the event itself. It's the story traders tell themselves about it. To understand why liquidity hunts feel personal, you have to understand what liquidity actually is. Liquidity is not volume. Liquidity is not participation. Liquidity is available orders. Big players cannot enter or exit positions without enough opposing orders. They need buyers when selling and sellers when buying. Retail traders, by contrast, all place their orders in predictable places, above highs, below lows, at obvious support and resistance, at round numbers. These clusters of stops and pending orders are pools of liquidity. Price is drawn to them not because of malice, but because that's where execution is possible. Now imagine the market as a search engine for orders. It scans price levels to find where transactions can happen efficiently. When price sweeps a high or low, it's not hunting you, it's accessing a pool of orders. You happen to be standing in that pool. The emotional reaction comes from a misunderstanding of intent. Humans are wired to detect agency. When something affects us repeatedly, we assume it is deliberate. This is called intent attribution bias. In trading, this turns neutral market mechanics into perceived hostility. Thus, the market is out to get me. They're hunting my stops. This is manipulation. This narrative is emotionally satisfying and strategically disastrous. Because once you believe the market is against you, you stop treating it as a system and start treating it as an opponent. And opponents trigger ego, revenge, and emotional escalation. Liquidity hunts feel painful because they exploit two psychological vulnerabilities. The first is loss aversion. Stops are placed where invalidation is obvious. When price hits them and reverses, it feels like being tricked. The second is hindsight bias. After the reversal, the correct entry becomes obvious. The mind rewrites reality. I should have waited. This combination creates frustration and paranoia. But liquidity sweeps are not traps. They are part of price discovery. And markets need to test extremes to find real buyers and sellers. They need to clear weak hands to move efficiently. Retail stops provide that clearing mechanism. Professional traders understand this and incorporate it into their models. They don't ask, "Why did the market hunt me?" They ask, "Where is liquidity likely to be, and how will price behave around it?" They expect sweeps. They expect fake-outs. They expect stop runs. And expectation removes emotional shock. Here's the deeper psychological shift. When you believe liquidity hunts are personal, you feel powerless. When you understand them as structural, you feel informed. Information creates distance. Distance creates calm. This is why some traders wait for liquidity sweeps as entries. They see stop runs not as betrayal, but as confirmation. But here's an important truth. You don't need to trade liquidity concepts to benefit psychologically. You just need to stop interpreting them as attacks. Every time price hits your stop and reverses, remind yourself, this is how markets move orders. No drama, no narrative, just mechanics. Now let's talk about why liquidity hunts trigger revenge trading. When traders feel targeted, they feel challenged. Challenge triggers ego. Ego demands retribution. So, traders re-enter impulsively. They widen stops. They increase size. They abandon structure. The market didn't trap them. Their interpretation did. Professional traders remove ego by reframing the game. The market is not adversarial. It is indifferent. It doesn't know you exist. It doesn't react to your position. It doesn't care about your stop. It moves to facilitate transactions. Now, that neutrality is uncomfortable for the ego, but calming for the mind. Once you accept indifference, liquidity hunts become just another pattern. Not betrayal, not manipulation, not a personal attack, just flow. The final shift is strategic humility. Retail traders want to outsmart the market. Professionals want to align with it. Liquidity sweeps are not obstacles. They are signals of where participation lies. The market is not hunting you, it is revealing itself. And when you stop taking liquidity personally, your trading becomes quieter, slower, and more controlled, because you are no longer fighting ghosts. How to stay calm. Around liquidity hunts, practical framework. The first step is expectation calibration. Most traders place stops and secretly hope price never touches them. This creates emotional shock when it does. Instead, you mentally assume, my stop is a liquidity magnet. Price may touch it. When something expected happens, it doesn't trigger stress. Surprise is the fuel of emotional reactions. You're not predicting a stop hunt. You're removing shock if it happens. Stop. Placement. Psychological, not just technical. Many traders place stops at obvious highs and lows because they feel logical, but those are psychologically crowded zones. You have 3 calm options. Place stops beyond obvious liquidity, wider, lower size. Accept being part of liquidity and treat it as normal. Use confirmation entries after sweeps instead of before. The key is this: do not place stops and expect immunity. Stops are participation, not protection from market mechanics. And reframing the stop and reverse, pain. The most emotionally damaging event is you get stopped, then price reverses perfectly. This triggers regret and conspiracy thinking. Here's the mental reframe. This reversal required my stop to move. Your stop helped the move happen. You were part of market mechanics, not a victim. This perspective dissolves paranoia. The liquidity neutrality protocol, live trading. When price sweeps your stop or a key level, do 3 things. 1. Label it. Say internally, liquidity sweep. Labeling creates psychological distance. 2. Delay reaction. No immediate re-entry for at least 1 structure candle. This breaks revenge trading loops. 3. Observe structure shift. Ask only, did structure change? Not, how do I make it back? Binary questions reduce emotion. This is why liquidity hunts feel personal and how to break that. Your brain evolved to detect predators and intent. Markets trigger that ancient pattern recognition system. Repeated stop-outs feel like being targeted. To break this, you need mechanical explanations, not emotional narratives. Liquidity is mechanical. Stop clusters are statistical. Sweeps are structural. When mechanics replace myth, emotion fades, turning liquidity into a calm edge mentally. You don't need to trade liquidity concepts, but you should mentally treat them as environmental weather, like wind for a pilot, like currents for a sailor. You don't fight it, you account for it. This mindset shift alone improves discipline dramatically. A final psychological insight. Liquidity hunts don't hurt traders. Interpretations hurt traders. If you believe the market is hostile, you become hostile. If you believe the market is mechanical, you become strategic. Calm traders don't feel hunted. They feel informed. The anti-paranoia protocol for traders. Paranoia in trading is not weakness. It's a predictable brain pattern when randomness feels targeted. Your brain evolved to detect predators and intent. Markets repeatedly hit your stops. Your brain assumes agency. To neutralize this, you must retrain how your brain interprets market events. 1. Intent detox. Removing the market versus you. Narrative. The first step is eliminating false agency attribution. Your brain keeps asking, why did they hunt my stop? So, you replace they with it. Use mechanical language only, not, they trapped me. Say, price access liquidity, not, the market punished me. Say, my invalidation level was hit. Language shapes perception. Perception shapes emotion. This is the fastest paranoia breaker. 2. The statistical reframe protocol. Paranoia comes from pattern misinterpretation. You see repeated stop hits. You assume targeting. You must train probability thinking. Say this before sessions. Any stop level is statistically likely to be tested. Price is more likely to visit liquidity than avoid it. This removes surprise and victimhood. Surprise is what makes events feel personal. 3. The scale perspective. Reset retail traders watch ticks. Professionals think in samples. Your brain panics because it sees single event causality. You install this rule. 1 trade equals noise. 20 trades equals information. 100 trades equals edge. Paranoia cannot survive large sample thinking. 4. The ego. Dissolution. Exercise paranoia is ego-defending identity. If the market is against you, you matter. If the market is indifferent, ego feels irrelevant. So you repeat, the market does not know I exist. My account is invisible in global flow. I am a statistical participant. This is not humility. This is emotional liberation. 5. The liquidity normalization drill. You train your brain to expect sweeps. Every session visualize. Price sweeping highs, price sweeping lows, stops triggering price reversing. Then say, this is normal, this is structure, this is required. Mental rehearsal removes emotional shock. 6. The anti-paranoia trading rules. These rules prevent paranoia loops. Rule 1. No immediate re-entry after stop out. Rule 2. No stop movement to avoid hunts mid-trade. Rule 3. No chart switching to prove manipulation. Rule 4. No social media after losses. Paranoia feeds on information overload. 7. The structural anchor technique. When paranoia hits live, do this. Look only at market structure, not candles. Ask one question. Did structure change? If no, then nothing happened. If yes implies process change, not emotion. Structure is reality. Candles are noise. 8. The mechanical worldview. Installation. You must shift from anthropomorphic market thinking to system thinking. And the market is a matching engine, a liquidity discovery mechanism, a probabilistic environment. It is not a person, an entity with intent, a predator. The moment you internalize this, paranoia collapses. 9. The paranoia kill switch during live trading. When you feel targeted, say internally, I am experiencing intent attribution bias. Labeling the bias creates distance from it. This is a cognitive science technique used in therapy and military training. 10. The professional trader. Identity shift retail mindset. The market is trying to trick me. Professional mindset. The market is revealing where orders exist. This shift is the psychological difference between fear and curiosity. At the core truth, the market feels against you when you expect certainty, you personalize randomness, you trade identity instead of process. Paranoia is not about the market. It is about ego plus randomness colliding. Final psychological upgrade. Replace this belief, the market is against me, with this, the market is a machine. I am learning how it moves. Machines are not enemies. They are systems, and systems can be understood. So, when you zoom out, liquidity hunts are not proof that the market is against you. They are proof that the market is doing exactly what it's designed to do: search for orders, clear weak positioning, and move where participation exists. The feeling of being targeted comes from how the human brain interprets randomness. Your mind looks for intent, patterns, and meaning in every move. When price hits your stop and reverses, it feels personal, even though it's mechanical. Once you understand that stops are liquidity, that liquidity is fuel, and that fuel is required for movement, the narrative changes. You stop seeing traps and start seeing structure. You stop feeling hunted and start feeling informed. Paranoia disappears when you replace stories with mechanics. The market is not an opponent. It is not a person. It is not watching you. It is a system that matches buyers and sellers, and your job is simply to participate with discipline and probability. The calm trader doesn't fight liquidity. They account for it. They expect it. They let it happen without emotional reaction. And that shift from personalizing price to understanding structure is what separates emotional traders from consistently disciplined ones.